exponentially weighted moving average. Just out of curiosity, how many of you practitioners use variable control charts beyond X bar R or X bar S? Any QSUM practitioners? Or it's fun to read about that, but all right. We'll just go ahead and take those off the list. There's benefits of those. Briefly, I think it's beyond the scope of our conversation here, but there's a still worth mentioning. So there's this phrase called average run length. That's a way of comparing different types of control charts. So the question is, you want a control chart that will quickly detect a shift without excessive alarms. Does that make sense? So if you have a X bar R chart, typically those are very good at detecting shifts greater than 1.5 standard deviations in magnitude. However, if you have a process shift like a chemistry bath, those typically drift very slowly because the pH level in a bath doesn't change instantly, as opposed to a machining process where a tool is bumped. Okay, so in that case, that's where the term QSUM comes from. It's cumulative sum, and you actually chart the difference over time, and so it detects small shifts faster with fewer false alarms, because a chemical bath typically will just start moving very slowly away from its central tendency, so slowly that the classic rules of thumb on X-bar charts won't pick them up. So for those of you dealing with chemistry, we can talk more about QSUM charts later, but they're not widely practiced, as evidenced by our informal poll we took here. We also have attributes, and what are attributes? So those will be things such as defective, pass-fail. So I'm going to list a couple of these. Got P charts, which are fraction or proportional defective. NP charts, that's number of defective. C is typically, that's where it comes from, is count of defects. U chart is a number of defects per unit. So if you run into that on an exam or some place like that, be sure that you can understand which of the charts are best associated with that. So what we're going to do now is perform an X-bar chart for the steps for that.